Hey, what's up, premium chasers? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can open up put credit spreads in your Robinhood app. Let's go. Now, those of you that are new here, you probably already know on this channel, we primarily talk about option selling strategies. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys an option selling strategy called the put credit spread. As you're going to see, this is a little bit more of a riskier play. However, you need less capital to get started, which means it's a lot more attractive to a lot more beginner investors. Please watch this whole video though, so you understand all the risks, the best practices for opening up your put credit spreads, so you're fully informed. And if I get any value from today's video, please consider hitting the like button, the subscribe button. I release new content talking all things selling options every single day. So today, guys, we're just going to be using NVIDIA as our example. When you are doing a put credit spread, there's essentially two positions that you are opening up. And I'm going to try to break this down extremely simply for you, because I think a lot of people have ulterior motives when they try to explain strategies, especially in trading, to you. So you end up buying their $4,000 or $5,000 course, and you don't need it, right? With a put credit spread, you're essentially taking advantage of two strategies. One, you're assuming you're doing a cash secured put. Now, I'm going to assume that you already know basics, right? This is definitely a little bit more of an advanced strategy, still a beginner options trading strategy, but I'm going to assume you know what covered calls and cash secured puts are and the differences between buying options. But essentially what we are doing is we are first selling a cash secured put. And if you don't know, essentially when you're selling a put, right, you have the obligation to buy at a stock price, right? You guys know I love cash secured puts, right? Because we get to dollar cost average into great stocks while collecting, right, that juice from the options buyers. Now, the next leg that we are creating when we are doing a put credit spread is we are actually, I hate to say it, we are actually being an options buyer, but then we are buying a put, right? Now, when you are buying a put, you have the right to sell a stock at a strike price. I think this will be a lot easier and it'll make a lot more sense if I show you guys in depth as an example, right? So for our example is NVIDIA. This is one of my favorite options or favorite ticker symbols to trade options on, because of how volatile it is. Now, I'm going to go over to the trade NVIDIA options section right here. Now, this is our options chain. No matter what you're using, Schwab, Fidelity, whatever, it's the same way you would open up a cash secured put. Is the same thing that you're going to do. You're just going to have a second leg as well, okay? So right here, what we're going to first do is we're going to sell a put. Now, as far as expiration, this is totally going to be dependent on your risk tolerances. Me personally, with put credit spreads, I don't necessarily like to go 30, 45 days out. To me, at least for me, these are more of a short-term strategy to try to get a quick hit of premium up front real quick. Now, I do most of the time for beginners recommend 30 to 45 days out. All of those things stays the same. But as you're going to see here, usually it just makes sense to do it on a shorter time frame because you get paid the same and it's like pointless to wait, okay? So, for example, here's our options chain. Now, I'm just going to select our expiration as expiring in 2 days from now on Friday. Now, this is where we're going to select our cash secured put. Now, obviously, we want to select a strike price that we'd be comfortable potentially buying this share. Now, you're not actually going to be buying them even if it drops to this price. You'll see here in a second. But my rule of thumb for delta selection stays the same. I want to be around something between a 0.20 and a 0.30. Obviously, the closer to the value of the share price that you go, the more the more your premium is going to be, right? So this is where you have to decide your own risk tolerance. So for example, if I do these 100s, right, you could see my delta is only a 0.09, right? That might not be aggressive enough because you could see the premium is only like 25 bucks. So let's take a look at these 102s, right? So these 102s are 0.15, still not, we'll maybe just do the 105 just for the sake of this example because it's still a 0.27 delta, which basically means there's a 27% chance that NVIDIA will hit 105 on Friday, right? So, but there's about a 70% chance that nothing happens, which in this strategy, you're hoping that nothing happens. That's the big thing, okay? You're hoping absolutely nothing happens. So let's open up that leg with our cash secured put and add it to our order. So now we have our cash secured put. That's step one, right? We made sure our delta is between a 0.20 and 0.30 and we're comfortable with that. Perfect. Now we need to switch from selling a put, right, to buying a put, right? Now we are going to buy a put. My rule of thumb is I like to then go 3 to 5 strikes lower than my cash secured put. Not always a possibility. This is totally dependent on stocks, the stocks that you select here, okay? But if you're usually, going into stocks that have a lot of trading volume, you shouldn't have a problem doing that. So in this case, if I go down to the 100s right here, you will see it will cost me $34, right, to buy this put, right? Now, if I click this right here, you could see my total credit here will be $86, right? Because now I'm essentially being a silly options buyer, right? I'm first doing my cash secured put where I'm collecting $123, but then I'm buying, right, a put as well, which is costing me $35. And we net that out, it's 82. We're collecting $82, $83. Let's add that into our cash secured put calculator just to show you guys how this all looks like. $83 we're collecting in premium right now. How much are we risking? What are the actual risks here? The biggest risk is the spread between your strike prices, right? So you can see there's a $5 spread or a $500 spread between these strike prices. Now, that's not necessarily true, right? Because what we can do now is we have to minus out, right, how much premium we're going to be getting. So 500 minus 83, did we say? That we were collecting 83. Obviously, this is constantly changing. We're just going to use 83 for our example. A 500 minus 83. That would be your total potential loss. And we'll explain what your losses potential are here in a minute. So $417 is essentially what you are putting up as, collateral as a potential loss, right? So we're taking our 417 right here, and I'll put it in our cash secured put calculator, right? And you could see, I'll zoom in here so everybody can see it. Our return on this trade would be about 20%. In 2 days. Now, I know, the eyes, it's like 20% in 2 days, Pete. That's amazing. So how do we manage this trade? What are the risks here that you need to be made aware of? Number one, right? If NVIDIA stays above 105 by Friday, you're Gucci, right? These options contracts, they will expire worthless, and you simply have walked away with your $82 to live another day and to go do the play again. This is why I like to trade these on shorter term time frames personally, right? Because I don't want to wait 30, 45 days on a trade like this. For me, these are quick hits that I'm just trying to make a quick buck, okay? The second thing that can happen here is that you will drop below your strike price. If you drop below your 105 and you hit 104, you essentially lost $100. If you go to a 103, you're essentially losing $200, $300, $400, $500, right? By going under 100. This $100 buy put that you have here is essentially your protection, right? Because when you're buying a put, you're essentially in control of 100 shares at $100 strike price, right? So your max loss really, like I said again, is about $417. And the reason it's $417 is because you're collecting that premium, that $83 up front. So when would you do a trade like this? Is this trade even worth doing, in my opinion? Well, number one, if you are on a much lower budget, right? Most of the strategies that I like to talk about on this channel involve just doing cash secured puts and covered calls and running the wheel strategy. I think that is the best strategy for 99% of people. However, I do understand that a lot of people don't have 20, 30, hundreds of thousands of dollars in their portfolios to be able to really create a great income from the wheel strategy. Now, and you still want to be involved in the markets, these are the kind of strategies that you have to start looking at, right? The nice thing about this a put credit spread is that you're only putting up about, $415, but your gain is pretty nice. You're collecting about 20% on your money, but you are taking that risk if this does drop and turn south off on you. You're not given anything is basically what I'm trying to say. When you have a cash secured put, at least if, this thing drops to 105, 104, you're going to be left with, 100 shares of NVIDIA that you can then run cover calls on, right? You didn't really lose money, in my opinion, as opposed to doing a put credit spread where it is a little bit more of a riskier play because you could lose some money. This is the put credit spread on Robinhood. If there's any questions about this whatsoever, please let me know down below in the comment section. I will gladly answer for you guys. I actually did put together a cheat sheet as well for this. This is really just for our private community, but it will be available for those of you inside of our free Facebook group where we are just a bunch of option sellers. If you want a link for that, that link will be down below in the description of today's video. So make sure to join us and introduce yourself in there, guys. Remember, sell options, collect premiums, repeat. God bless you. I will see you tomorrow.